Let's see. A Supercell copyright abuse drama for Clash of Clans. Supercell copyright abuse. Okay, I'll watch it.
I'll be honest with you guys. I am shocked and appalled, disgusted, disrespected, but mostly disappointed in what Supercell has done today. Not only today, but over the last couple of weeks here, and more specifically, the Clash of Clans team at Supercell. So let's get into it. We got a lot to talk about. I'd like to start today's video by saying that I'm not going to put any licensed or copyrighted music in this video, so anybody who would like to help spread the word or react to this content and talk about it, I highly, highly encourage it. And I also want to make sure that we don't put any actual Clash of Clans content in this video because Supercell has been abusing the copyright system recently and taking down channels who say things that they don't like. And I feel like they're not going to like this because we are exposing them today. So you might think I'm being a little bit paranoid by trying to protect myself against abuse of the copyright system by a big company like Supercell, but this is not beneath them. This is something that they would be petty enough to do. And because there is nothing that really would stop them other than the public backlash that would come as a result of that, then I want to make sure that we are bringing this to the attention of everybody so that we know that they have a history of this, and this is something that they may end up resorting to. And just to try to potentially shield my channel from this abuse of the copyright system and to make sure that everybody knows that this is happening, I want to bring this case to your attention. On the week leading up to Tuesday, April 9th, just 2 months ago, we can see that the Clash of Clans team issued copyright strikes against the content creator known as Time to Clash. He was a Clash of Clans esports commentator, just like myself. He streamed every day onto YouTube and to Twitch, majorly supporting Clash of Clans esports, and largely a positive contributor to the community. And even if they didn't think he was a positive contributor to the community or not, that's irrelevant because they abused the copyright system and took his channel down entirely. They went after, looks like about 20 of his video. You can see that every single one of them was claimed by Supercell Oi, the entire video. And I guess technically, because there's Clash of Clans content in the video and it's their game, then technically they can do this, I suppose. But because he was a small content creator, I don't think they ever expected this to surface, and I think it was just going to be swept under the rug because they have been intimidating the Clash of Clans content creators into silence, and that's been going on for many years now. But they didn't stop.
That's crazy. How is that not fair use? I don't know.
Just at YouTube.
I didn't see the video.
They copyright striked his channel into the ground, and then they went on and went after his Discord, after his Twitter, after his Twitch. They went in and copyright striked everything that he had that was posting Clash of Clans content. And this is a small creator who only had like 20,000 subscribers, and so he did not have the tools to fight back. And because Supercell has been known to do things like this, then they intimidate the entire content creator community into silence because nobody else wants to be the next victim of what they are doing. And
no, he's right about this. He's completely right. Like, no shot. There's got to be more to this. It sounds personal. I don't know yet.
So everybody is afraid to speak out. So honestly, I don't even expect other content creators from the Clash of Clans community to interact with this in any way because I don't want them to be the next victim. I will stand here because they've already targeted me. The gloves are off. And we're going to war. And I don't want the other content creators to get caught in the mix and ultimately become a target. So I think it's completely okay if you guys sit on the sidelines and just watch the mayhem unleash. Like, look at the dates on this post here that he received from Discord. Like, they were going months or almost a year back searching for anything that they could potentially put a copyright claim on so they could try to justify it. Like, they went deep into this. They were committed to try to taking this content creator down and silence him. And they're starting to do the same thing against me. So I'm a little bit concerned. I would hope that the public...
So here's the thing. Here's the piece of information that I don't know that really helps me make a decision based off of whether this is a good idea or not. I don't know why they did it. Like, was he doing things that were really bad? Or was he just criticizing them? I don't know. YouTube system is way too easy to abuse. Yeah, well, a lot of systems are like this.
Being aware about this blatant copyright abuse causes enough backlash to Supercell that the people who make decisions at the company can hold those employees responsible that were the ones who made this decision. But it's those same employees who are now trying to target my channel. So let's talk about that. And to do so, we need a little more context about what we do around here. So we have 415,000 subscribers on YouTube. We've amassed 2,100 Clash of Clans videos, mainly focusing on guides in the early days, and more so nowadays we focus on high-level Clash of Clans esports. just last November, I flew out to Finland and I cast the World Championship. So needless to
Wow.
say, we've been in very good standing with Supercell for a very long time. After the World Championship, Supercell released Town Hall 16, and they decided that they were going to change the direction of the game to try to cater to casuals, and so they made the game significantly easier across every single level. Along with the game balance changing pretty drastically to make the game relatively easy compared to where it was before, they also introduced the new equipment system.
No, Clash of Clans has esports. I remember I did a video about it, or I did a sponsor for it, and I was like hearing about all this stuff for the first time. It was a shock to me. I just thought it was some bullshit mobile game, but no, there's an entire industry around it.
Of a Town 16,
nuts.
which made so that you could attach equipment to your heroes, and that would make them significantly more powerful. But the downside of that is they were introducing new equipment at such a rapid rate, and you could only get the resources in game quick enough to get a small amount of it upgraded. It made so that it effectively introduced a new pay-to-win mechanic into Clash of Clans esports, and this never existed before. For years, we have been able to have everybody at the top level of the game on an even playing field, and so now,
and
with
that's
the new
the problem. Of course I can see what the problem is right there. What if somebody whales $8,000 and they still lose? Well, what the hell is that? That's awful. Yeah, it's terrible. Like, what the hell are you thinking?
Equipment and the continued release of new pieces of equipment, that the only way you could possibly max out fast enough to be competitive would be to just pour large sums of money into the game, made so that the entire Clash of Clans esports has become a bit pay to win. You do need to make sure that you have equipment to be able to be competitive at the highest levels of Clash of Clans esports, and so that directly affects what we do on the channel here. And so I criticized that. Of course, the game was too easy. The meta was too easy. They introduced a new Rue Rider troop. It was completely broken. They ended up nerfing it 3 times. And so that ultimately brought it down to where it should be. But in the meantime, I talked about how the meta was a little bit too easy and things like the Rue Riders were way too strong. And the fact that Supercell was actively changing the game to be able to bring those in line with where they should be, and they continue to. They even brought out a hard mode so that the game is more difficult for the pro players, and I was all about that. I have been very vocal about my support of them bringing out the hard mode
does this
and
have
the
to
nerfs
do with
to
getting
the
shut down?
providers and other things that would bring the game back into balance and give the casual players a casual experience that they choose to have, and give the pro players something difficult that they can challenge themselves with, and we can have a competitive environment in. And so when I started to...
It's a pay-to-win mobile game, man. Like, what do you think is going to happen? They don't give a fuck about any of that. They just care about doing this as an advertisement. Like, they don't care about the integrity of the game. They don't care about any of this. They're just doing this to get more people to talk about the game and play the game. It's not complicated. Yeah, I mean, what the hell are we talking about? It wasn't pay to win, though? Well, you had an advantage if you spent money over somebody who didn't in certain circumstances. That means it's pay to win.
criticize that, the Clash of Clans team decided that that is their justification to remove me from the casting crew of the World Championship. And so I am no longer on the casting crew from the World Championship, and this video gets a lot worse from here. So let's keep going here. But I do want to point out that the other content creators who are casting the World Championship were also criticizing the meta. So that leads me to believe that this is a targeted attack against my channel, which is why I feel the need to bring up their abuse of the copyright system to make sure that we can shield this channel from being abused in the same way that the other content creators were. But the fact that these other creators were also criticizing the meta, we can see here, meta equipments and pay to win, state of the game. We can see the other caster for the World Championship, but no shade to these content creators. We are literally here to be the voice of the community, to be the voice of the players, and talk about these things. And it's Supercell's job to make sure that we are heard and that we get the feedback to the developers and they can actually improve the game. But we see right here, Carbon Finn was talking about how hero equipment broke Clash of Clans, and so they were banning it in that war. And everybody has been very vocal about how the meta has been in a very bad spot. So obviously, I was a little bit confused on why they decided to target my channel unprovoked, and I still don't know exactly what the reason was behind that, but I don't think it has anything...
I mean, are we certain that it's not just a mistake that, like, I mean, some person at the company made a mistake or it was, like, categorized? Because, like, I just can't imagine, like, so you get 20 strikes, but you have 2,000 videos. So if you only needed 3 strikes to get rid of a channel, why would you do 20? And if every single video was about Clash of Clans, then why isn't it 2,000 strikes? I'm not sure if I believe, like, there's a piece of this that's missing.
To do with the meta of the game. Like, I thought that's what it was because that's what they told me.
The strikes weren't his, it was a smaller creator. Oh, right, you're right. No, thank you. Yes, correct.
That it was, but it obviously seems to be a targeted strike against my channel, and I'm not really sure why they're going after me. Now, if they don't like me and they just want to get rid of me, then it is their decision to remove me from the World Championship casting crew, and that was fine. I didn't say anything about that. Like, I was upset. Yes, I'm obviously as upset, but from there, it started to get worse with what happened today. During our live stream, we were discussing some drama surrounding one of the esports teams that is currently qualified to the World Championship. It was the Legacy, our number 2 seed. And their team captain was delivering some news to Max, who was one of the star players for most of 2023 and 2024. He had a 100% perfect hit rate as they qualified to the World Championship. He was the 4th highest hit rate in the world in the Town Hall 15 meta last year during the World Championship circuit that year. And
so
they
were
took
him out of the tournament.
They were moving forward without you. He says, after careful consideration, we've decided to make a change to the team and move forward without you. And we apologize for the time and the inconvenience. Nice of him. And we wish you the best of luck in the future qualifiers where he's going to have to go qualify again. Now, these qualifications are worth an enormous amount of money. Like, we're talking tens of thousands of dollars at a minimum just to be on the team and get to the World Championship and place last place. And so to remove a player is not only denying them the opportunity to go to the World Championship and have that experience.
Yeah, but I don't know why he got removed, though. Like, that's the thing, is I don't know why this happened. Because, like, if like, he could have been removed for a reasonable purpose or a reasonable cause.
But you're also denying them a large sum of money.
Maybe he's going to say why.
Inexplicably remove one of the best players in the world, and this is Max. Now, let me tell you a little bit about
But why
Max.
does this happen?
Max is one of the nicest guys you've ever met. He's a sweetheart. He is
but not according
a massive
to Supercell.
Positive contributor to the Clash of Clans community, and he's one of the best players in Clash of Clans esports. We've featured him on the channel many, many times here, as he is very, very creative. He's very consistent, and he has one of the highest hit rates out of everybody in the world, regardless of the meta. And so they were removing him from the team and not giving a reason and denying him his opportunity to go play in the World Championship after he earned the spot on the team. I do want to point out that there has been a precedent set to...
Yeah, but I don't know why he got declined. Like, it's easy to say, oh yeah, this is a bad decision without providing any context to it. But how am I supposed to know it's bad? I mean, am I supposed to just believe this? I don't know.
Change the roster of a team after they qualify to the World Championship. Now, there's a confusing rule in the rule book that says teams that have earned a golden or silver ticket must compete in future Clash of Clans championship seasons and community tournaments with the same 5 players that originally earned the ticket. And so they also just kind of toss it at the end there, unless otherwise approved by the organizer, which is obviously Supercell. And so if they wanted to change the roster, then they just needed to, in the past, get an agreement from all the players, and it had to be unanimous from the players that are being removed and the entire team because of what is at play there. There's such a large sum of money, a life-changing amount of money for a lot of these young players, and so if you take that away from them against their will, when they did not do anything to warrant it, they did not...
Well, we don't know if they did anything. I don't know if they didn't or not. I mean, I don't necessarily trust them, but I don't think there's enough evidence for me to distrust them.
Have any public scandals. They did not get banned in the game. They didn't break the terms of service. They did nothing. Max did absolutely nothing to warrant a removal from the team. But in the case of the player that ultimately replaced him on VM Legacy, he just came from Milos MMG, who just qualified this last weekend into the World Championship. And they deliberately point out, and this is exactly how you should do it. They said, we want to make it clear that we have not had any dramas with Mammoth. It's simply his choice. So Mammoth who was playing on Mill CMG, who just qualified, ultimately decided that he was going to jump ship, and he was able to then obviously go in and agree to leaving the team. And so that would be an approved thing that would pass through Supercell. And as long as they maintain the majority of their original roster as they go to the World Championship, then usually it's pretty normal that they can swap out a team, or a team member, but it has to be in agreement with that team member. They can't just kick him off the team.
Sure,
but the fact that he went over to VM Legacy and he replaced Max, and Max was forced off of the team
what's
Supercell's approval, apparently, because they would have had to have their approval, which is kind of shady in its own right. The reason I wanted to bring that stuff up is because this story just gets more shady from here. Flexi, the person who was in the DMs, removing Max from the team or delivering the news to him, and the team captain that would have had to submit the roster changes to Supercell to be able to change the team, is a tier 3 content creator. And he was able to become a tier 3 content creator because he has friends at Supercell that are able to hook him up with something that is usually exclusive to Twitch streamers and YouTubers who have a very large following. There are very few people that are tier 3 content creators, and I was one of them before I spoke out to stand up for Max, and then they decided, yeah, no, we're just going to remove you because you stood up to Flexi. And Flexi is good friends with the people that make these decisions at Supercell, and would also be the same people that would approve the roster change to remove Max from the team. So this is far worse than meets the eye, because there is direct favoritism to allow him to do something that...
Of course they're doing this. Here's the reason why, okay? And I want to explain the reason why this is happening. This is a pay-to-win mobile game. You lost the moment you started playing. Like, you've already lost. Like, that's the way I see it. And I don't really see, like, because there are implications here, but there's no information. Like, we don't really have any info. The only legitimate point on the graph is that this guy got kicked out of a tournament, and then some other person who's not the first guy got copyright struck. What's really going on? Like, we don't know. I don't think, how does he know what's going on? Smells like Ratsu all over again? Yeah, it probably is.
Would typically be not denied for any other team. And so that is a really, really bad look for Supercell, as Flexi abuses his position and is able to leverage his friendships inside of the company. And if that wasn't enough, they then took it a step further. They went after Erica, who is another Clash of Clans esports commentator and a Twitch streamer. And when she expressed her disapproval of the situation, then they also decided that she needed a ban as well. So she was not a tier 3 content creator, because she only has, as we see, 4 times the following of Flexi. And so obviously she was not qualified to become a tier 3 content creator like Flexi is. And so she instead was just straight up removed from the program instead of taking a demotion or a temporary ban. She was just straight up...
Supercell continues their campaign to promote bullying by banning another creator standing up against mistreatment of players. You need to step in before your employees destroy the entire reputation of Cock Esports.
Kicked out of the program because she had the nerve to stand up for the victim in the situation, which clearly was Max. So now that everything's on the table, the only thing to do from here is to make sure our voice is heard. We need to make sure that Supercell listens and ends this corruption. There is deep-set corruption in Supercell. They are actively abusing the copyright system to silence small creators. They are intimidating the larger creators into silence. And their actions are so egregious and obvious that I think anybody can see right through it. So what you can do...
I can't. I can't. I don't know what's going on. So where's the actual data here? So the data is that one content creator who is not any of the other people received a lot of copyright strikes. That's me, not you. Sorry. Received a lot of copy strikes from Supercell. The second point is that then this guy goes and says, well, like, I'm not going to show any Clash of Clans stuff because he's worried about getting copyright struck. And then he immediately shows a YouTube channel full of Clash of Clans stuff. Then a person gets kicked off of a tournament for a reason that we don't know. And we're supposed to assume that it's corruption because somebody else replaced them that might have or that has a relationship with people at the company. That's a crazy accusation to make. I don't think that I have enough data to say that this is bad yet. It makes perfect sense. It makes perfect sense if you forego a burden of proof. If you believe this is what's happening, it's what's happening. But it's just there's not enough.
Is go on to the App Store and you can leave a negative review onto Clash of Clans. Whether you're on Android or onto iOS, go onto the App Store and leave a negative review so that they have to listen. And then go on to social media and...
Regardless of the reason, you think ending their entire personality online is a good move? Well, it depends, right? So if they're promoting hacks for the game, then yes. I don't know what they were promoting, so I can't make that decision.
Let them know your opinions about the situation, because this is beyond messed up. They messed up, they started a war, and now they're going to have to deal with the consequences. Also, push this video out to any content creators who do React content so we can spread the word as much as possible. And make sure that everybody out there who plays Clash of Clans or who has played Clash of Clans in the past are aware of what has become of the Clash of Clans team at Supercell in 2024. Thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you for supporting the cause, and we'll see you in the next video.
I'm not convinced by any of this. Why did this person get DMCA'd? Did they explain why? Did the company say why? So if the problem is that... So basically, using scientific method in order to determine whether a variable is the affecting variable that's causing a change, you need to have a control group, which this guy provided by showing multiple other people that criticized the game that were not removed from their caster roles. So if the issue is that criticizing the game causes you to get removed from your caster role, the logical assumption would be that all people that criticize the game would be removed from their caster role. However, he in his own video demonstrated that that is not the case. So there's no evidence or proof or any sort of logic that implies that that was the reason that he was removed from the program. Because other people did the same thing and it didn't happen to them. Now, I could be wrong, right? And it could actually just be the fact that, like, they don't like him more for whatever reason, and there's something else more to it. However, or they saw his video, but they didn't see the other videos. But you're not gonna get me to be like, yeah, this is some kind of like legit bad thing, because there's not enough points on the graph for that. Well, I'm invested, so we'll watch the second part and figure it out.
In today's video...
What about banning 3 streamers? Well, they took streamers out of the program for playing the... they took them out of the creator program. Now, why did they take them out of the creator program? I don't know. Are there other streamers that spoke up against this problem that weren't removed? Because that's what's really going to tell you. That's how it's going to make sense.
I would like to continue our conversation about the copyright abuse from Supercell, which I feel like out of all the things that we talked about in yesterday's video was the absolute most egregious, and I'd like to give a little bit more context about it. But I'd also just like to say thank you to everybody who has stood up to Supercell, who has spread the word about everything that's going on. I spent 14 years in the military, and there's been many, many times.
Is this video monetized? I guess I can check it on this, right?
I'll be honest with you guys.
I'm not sure if this is going to show an ad or not. Yeah, because if they demonetize the video or something like that, that would mean something. This is the same one I was just watching.
Times throughout my career where somebody was mistreating the people below them, and it was my job as a person who had a voice to be able to stand up for the little guys. And this is exactly what is happening here. So this is nothing that I am unfamiliar with. You stand up when people are being mistreated, and there's no other way around it. And in the case of the copyright abuse, Adam was massively mistreated by Supercell. For anybody who didn't see yesterday's video, let's catch you up on what happened. On Tuesday, April 9th, 2014, the YouTube channel Time to Clash was deleted off of the internet by Supercell. We can see that there were 16 takedown requests onto videos covering lots of Clash of Clans esports wars, which were just normal live streams that were posted onto YouTube, and we can see that they were claimed right here by Supercell Oi. Entire video, content used Clash of Clans. So their justification is that he was using Clash of Clans. While these copyright strikes were being issued, I reached out to Adam to find out exactly what the specific reason was for the copyright strikes, and this is the description of the infringement. It says, all intellectual property rights to the copyrights of registered trademarks of Supercell games and Supercell brands are owned by Supercell, including copyright to the game characters and internationally registered trademarks. So effectively, they're saying every single thing about the game is theirs, and they can do what they want because they own Clash of Clans. To fully understand the motive for Supercell to target Adam for these copyright strikes, you need to understand the history between Adam and the community manager that issued the strikes at Supercell. So a couple of years ago...
How do you know that community manager issued the strikes? How do we know that? That was never... There's no evidence of that. Who else? I don't know. It's his job. I don't know.
There was a falling out between two of the content creators in the content creator program. One of them was Adam, and ultimately Supercell took the side of the other content creator and they removed Adam from the content creation program. That was a big drama. There was a lot of fallout with that. There was a lot of drama involved with it. I'm not going to get into that in this video. But ultimately, Adam was removed from the content creation program, and the community manager that took the side of the other content creator ultimately was holding a very, very deep grudge against Adam for what happened with that whole situation. So then fast forward to April 2024. The moment that the copyright strikes were issued onto Adam's channel, he reached out to me, let me know that they just put 4 strikes onto his channel and they were trying to get us.
So there's still no evidence so far that that specific community manager issued the strike.
Channel removed. Adam was being accused of leaking something from the developer server that had not been released into the game. So when Adam went live that day, he hadn't been live in quite a long time, not been released into.
What are the strikes for? He says, no idea. They haven't communicated with me in over a year. I saw some clips from your live stream floating around about you leaking something from the dev build. Do you think this is related to that? Adam didn't say that. Somebody else suggested that.
The game. So when Adam went live that day, he hadn't been live in quite a long time, and the community manager at Supercell likes to go in and check on his streams to make sure he's staying in line. Even though he's not part of the content creation program, they still go in, kind of snoop on his streams, and ultimately just make sure that he stayed in line with what they want him to do.
Wait, what?
To make sure he's stayed in line, even though he's not part. The community manager at Supercell likes to go. He hadn't been live in quite a long time, and the community manager at Supercell likes to go in and check on his streams to make sure he's stayed in line, even though he's not part of the.
How do we know that?
Content creation program. They still go in, kind of snoop on his streams, and ultimately just make sure that he stayed in line with what they want him to do. And
how do we know this? The community manager, the guy's here, he says the community manager was in direct contact with me while the strikes were being issued. That doesn't mean he was doing them, number one. And number two, like, we still don't even know what they were for. Did he tell you that?
During that stream, they sent me a clip of Adam saying something to the extent of, it did kind of sound pretty damning, but there wasn't actually any information about anything that was upcoming to the game leaked out to the public, and I want to be 100% clear about that. But he said, I'm the type of person that would leak something, so here we go. And then he started to speculate about the game. And let's be clear that he hadn't streamed in a very long time. He was very, very inactive at the time, and he just kind of popped open a stream that day.
So they thought he was leaking information, but that's actually not the reason he was given. He didn't receive any reason at all.
And was streaming one of the esports wars, and he effectively was to say that the game was a little bit too easy, which is the same criticism that everybody else had. And he says that things are likely to get worse before they get better. And then I said the clip makes it sound like you had information about a new tanking troop or something. Something is, or the quote that he said is something that would make the golem look like it was nothing, was the wording that he used. And so he says he was talking about the King's Gauntlet with the Giant Gauntlet, which was relatively new into the game at that point. And ultimately, this was after the Root Riders were introduced to the game, and there was nothing that was ever released into Clash of Clans that even closely resembled what he was saying in this speculation that they referred to as a leak. But obviously with the grudge that was being held by that community manager against Adam for a very long time across multiple years for many different reasons. And maybe that grudge was justified, maybe it wasn't. However, copyright striking a channel into the ground because you have a grudge against a YouTuber is obviously extremely wrong. He did not leak anything. I want to be 100% clear about that. There was nothing in the statement that he said that leaked anything that ever appeared in Clash of Clans. So this community manager went on a mission to copyright strike his channel into the ground. They then went on to copy strike 12 more of his videos there for a total of 16 total. Then they went after his Discord. I didn't even know that was possible, honestly. But then they went after his Twitter. They took down his TikTok. And then, like I said, he was able to save his Twitch there before they were able to issue copyright strikes on it. But they were going full scorched earth against him, trying to remove every bit of him because I'm sure that she was sick of dealing with him. And it doesn't matter how annoying he might be. It is not okay. That is not a justification to abuse the copyright system. If he is the absolute biggest dirtbag in the world, that is still not a justification to abuse the copyright system and remove him from the internet. They single-handedly, and they can do this to anybody. Let's keep that in mind here. They could go after anybody and single-handedly remove their entire channel from the internet for 3 pieces of Clash of Clans content that they've had on their channel at any point because technically they own the copyright to it. So I'm not a lawyer. I don't know if there's a legal precedent or something in the terms of service that would make so that they would legally be in the right to copyright claim whatever they feel like whenever anything from Clash of Clans is placed into a video. And so they could ultimately silence criticism if there is a legal path to do so. However, usually what prevents companies from taking this road is obviously the public backlash that would result if they actually abuse the copyright system. And I don't think this community manager thought it through very well when they started to issue these strikes, and they were just trying to get rid of what they considered a troublesome creator, somebody who they've been trying to deal with for a very long time. And honestly, that doesn't matter. That doesn't matter. It's completely irrelevant. If they don't like the creator, they can not like him all they want. But ultimately, he should still be able to create content for the game if he chooses to, and they cannot just remove him on a grudge without enormous public backlash. And that's exactly what is happening because they abuse the copyright system, and they absolutely 100% deserve it. So I do want to say that a lot of the content creators through Clash of Clans and Clash Royale and all across the Supercell community have been reaching out to me and thanking me for standing up to Supercell because this is a widespread problem. I told everybody in my last video that don't put yourself in the crosshairs of Supercell because we don't know what they're going to do if they're going to try to target other people. And I just want to say thank you to all of those creators who stand up, whether it is behind the scenes or publicly. And this is just something that Supercell needs to stop doing. This is not okay. This was an egregious abuse of the copyright system, and they need to be held accountable. So now that I'm on Supercell's bad side anyways, we might as well start to talk about some of the other problems with Clash of Clans. So if you guys want to hear about some of that, as long as they don't try to target my channel for another abuse of the copyright system, which I really hope they wouldn't, because with all the tension that's on this right now, I think that would be a very, very poor public PR move for them. But I want to talk about the state of the game a lot more in the upcoming videos, so make sure you subscribe to the channel, and we'll see you in the next video.
Okay, there's a lot to unpack here. I wanted to just let it finish because I was assuming that I'd hear more. Okay, so number one, I think this guy vastly overestimates the amount of influence that a public backlash for a game that's a mobile game is really going to have on the game itself. I don't really think it's going to affect the game at all, even if it comes out that they totally did it and they got paid to get rid of him. Like, do you really think that people are going to stop playing Clash of Clans because of that? I don't think so. The truth is that, like, Clash of Clans is a massive game, but they have one of the best audiences possible because none of the people in the audience care about anything else other than playing the game. They don't care about what the company does. They don't care about, like, the esports of the game. They don't care about any of this stuff. They're just going to play the game. So to act like that there's going to be some sort of negative reaction to banning some content creator from an esports tournament nobody really gives a shit about, then I just don't really think that's going to happen. It just won't, right? I'm just being honest. It's just not going to happen. Now, that being said, so let's talk about why this happened. Here's a big question that I have. So if you look at every single one of the videos that was DMCA'd by Clash of Clans, every single one of them looks like, keep this in mind, looks like all they did was re-upload a VOD from the official tournament. This doesn't look like there was any sort of like real, information done, or like this isn't, it didn't even seem like it doesn't even say it's a react. It just says, something, my God, World Championships Day 2, Navi versus Repotted Gaming, Stars, Ice-Golem, MVP. So it looks like these are just simply re-uploads of the same exact content that could have been on the official channel. So whenever I'm only seeing the videos that are being targeted as being explicitly videos from the World Championship, this makes me think that I assume that this person probably did more videos on Clash of Clans beyond the World Championship. And what are the odds that not a single one of those got reported or copyright struck, and it was only the ones from the World Championship? But how do you know? I don't know. But here's how I can get closer to knowing. Right? The community manager from Supercell sent me to investigate. They had me try to dig up proof after they already issued the strikes. That's what he says. I don't, but like, so where's the evidence? Why aren't you showing that? Why wouldn't you show that in the video? But does his commentary constitute transformative content? I don't know. Transformative content is a defense. It's a legal defense. So you like, how am I supposed to know that? So you probably used them as B-roll as he talked. The quick YouTube search can confirm such a suspicion. If it's a version of the same match of their official channel, that's the same speculation. I don't know. But like, here's the way I see it. Extraordinary claims require extraordinary evidence. Is there enough evidence that Supercell acted in a bad way? I don't think that there is. None that is provided, because this conversation is a conversation between two different people talking about what they think the company did. I've got the guy in chat. He's telling me that Supercell told him to dig up bad information about this. So how is it that that's not in the, how is that not part of this video? If they're telling you to go and investigate a player so they can retroactively justify a copyright strike, why wouldn't you put that in the video? I mean, I'm sorry, like, and I'm not saying he's a liar, but I'm also not going to say he's telling the truth. Like, you show me the fucking evidence and I'll believe it. You don't show me the evidence, I don't believe it. Because that's a crazy accusation to make. That's insane to say that. There's lots, yeah. The strikes seem to be about a competition, so isn't the producer of the competition complaining or something? Yes. Every single strike here is only about this competition. Time to Clash. Let me see if I can look up the channel, if it's been shut down or not. Is this it? Or is this somebody else? It seems like this is somebody else. So the channel was taken down. Is that correct? It's somebody else? Yeah, was it taken down? I'm trying to see if I can find... I believe so, yes. Let me look it up on Google. Time to Clash, Clash of Clans. Okay, there's no way I'm going to read all that. Summarize what happened between Clan to Clash and Lady B. TLDR, I don't know. This is some kind of like weird drama thing. Who knows? And his channel is deleted on here as well. It was mentioned on 20k subs, so it should come right out on top. It does, and it doesn't, which indicates that his channel was probably taken down. So I don't know why that happened.
Supercell.
Sorry. I don't know why that happened. And I don't think that this is enough evidence to assume that they were doing it for an unfair reason. Search Time to Clash YouTube, and it's the second result for me. Okay, Time to Clash YouTube. Okay, so it's not available. It looks like his channel did get deleted. So the channel is gone. But I don't think that, like, because saying that it's the specific community manager that, like, has a vendetta against this one guy, like, that is a crazy level accusation. He said why in the video? Yeah, he said why, because he has a vendetta against him. But why does he have the vendetta? What happened? How can you prove that? Like, am I the only person that, like, if I see one inconsistency or one thing that's confusing, at that point, I want to know everything down to a granular level, or I don't believe it. Because it seems like there's a lot of assumptions that are being made in this video. He's claimed he had a grudge for years. How did he know that he had a grudge? Yes, exactly. Response one. So somebody's mad. They think that, you're saying that, but they pay a lot, trying so hard to defend a sponsor. This is insane. Multi-million morals get a 50K. Do you think it's 50K? It's way more than that. So what's the problem? What are you unhappy about? Of course it's more. Yeah, of course, right? And so anyway, what are you unhappy about? Like, what am I not accepting that you think that I should accept? The manager just, no, we'll see what he says. I'm sure he's gonna have a great point. Check follow date. Yeah, probably banned before. Sorry, you're right. Of course it's more. So you're sitting here talking shit, but the moment that you get called up to, like, explain what you're thinking, you immediately fall apart because you know what you're saying is stupid. You're just a shit-talking retard. Get the fuck out of here. What a weirdo. He created the account to follow you. Don't ban him? Well, I guess he's going to have to create another one then. What a loser. Bro folded instantly? Yeah, exactly. The biggest thing I don't believe in this game is there's an esport for the game? Yeah, I had no idea. He thinks you're biased because you took a sponsorship? I understand that's what he thinks, but in order to think that, like, you're making a character judgment, what am I saying that makes you believe that character judgment? You can't say that because at the end of the day, you know that I'm right and you're mad that I'm saying it. That's the reason why you're fucking pissed. Because I'm not going and saying the same thing that you want me to say. Making up bias given the evidence is clear. You can't deny that. Making that bias. I mean, like, what do you mean, like, making a bias? Like, anybody can have a bias. Like, you can use the same logic by saying that he has a bias because he got kicked off of the tournament and he's not a caster anymore. Like, everybody, like, what is being said is either true or not. That's it. It doesn't matter, like, who's saying it. Trying to attack the person, unfortunately, I was limited what I could show in the video for NDA reasons. Okay. So, you're in chat. I'll pull this up. So, you're telling me that an employee of Supercell explicitly told you to investigate and dig up proof after the fact that they issued strikes. And this is an employee of the company, and you have evidence of this being said. Very simple question. Yes or no? Correct. Then the proof on the leaks was unfounded, so they said F it and went after all of his accounts. You've already broken your NDA. You've already broken it. By saying that, you've broken your NDA. Fundamentally. It's not like there's an NDA for the DMs, but there's not an NDA for talking about them. What's the logic there? Like, here, let me give you an example. So, I recently went to Riot. I talked to them about a number of things. If I tell you guys what we talked about, and I give the specifics of it, I'm breaking the NDA. I don't need to have recorded the conversation or taken text messages to break the NDA. What if you lie? I don't know. That's between you and the company. I'm not sure. So how does this work? I mean, I don't understand. Like, did he literally leave? He's probably typing. I'll give it 2 or 3 more minutes, okay? Okay, here we go. The investigation was in the Discord. They have since kicked me out of the Slack, so I don't have access to that anymore. But I wouldn't risk showing that. Wait, you're saying two different things. Do you have screenshots of it or not? I don't have the screenshots. Okay, so then you don't have proof. Is that right? Because you said that you do have proof. And then I asked you what the proof is, and you said that you got kicked out of a Discord and you can't get the screenshots anymore. I don't have proof of that. Well, whenever I was asking you, what do you have proof of? What did you think I was asking? Why would I ask if you had proof of the conversation that you posted on YouTube? Of course you have proof of it. I'm looking at it. I'll give this a couple more minutes. At this point, I think I might want to get to the bottom of this. Might want to figure out what's really going on. Did DM make a video about this? He did. I don't know what happened. He's invested now? Yes, I am invested now. I am fully invested. Bring him into a call? I don't know if he's going to want to do that. There's a long history between that community manager and the creator. She's been going after him for a long time. Okay, so you didn't answer my question about what did you think that I was asking for proof for, number one. Number two, you don't have proof that the community manager was trying to single him out. You said you did. I asked you what the proof was, and now you don't have it. So how are we supposed to believe you? Why should we believe this? We're going to get down to the bottom of this. We're going to figure out what's really going on. He says, that's fair. It's hard to prove without access to the Slack and breaking the NDA. But you've already broken the NDA by saying this. You understand that, right? Discussing the nature of something is breaking an NDA in the same way that sharing the actual information itself is, because you're transmitting information. An NDA is against breaking, or it is against a transmission of information. So, for example, if you get to see a movie early on and it's NDA'd, and then you come out of the movie theater and you say, this is what happened in the movie, then you've broken the NDA even though you didn't show the movie. That's not the way that NDAs work. And also, if it is, if you think this is the way the NDA works, send me the contract. Show me the contract that you signed. I'll read it and I'll show it to you myself. Because I know what an NDA boilerplate contract is. It's a fair take. I'll have to reinforce these points moving forward to get more proof. Good luck in getting more proof. And in the instance that you do, I will be here ready to see it. But right now, you have provided baseless accusations and implications only. I don't think that you have provided enough evidence in order to be certain that Supercell acted in bad faith. And I think that it is very curious that the only real point on the graph that you have that is definitive that Supercell acted badly in, which is the copyright infringement, I do not know whether they did act badly in terms of that copyright infringement, because every video that was copyright struck seems to just be a re-upload of the esports, which is very common, by the way, for esports events to do this, because the way that esports events are sold and the producers of the events oftentimes have dual rights to the IP, or they have different types of distribution rights that transcend what the developer normally does. So I don't think that you provided enough evidence for it. I think that you would also need to provide other people that had uploaded similar content and not received a DMCA. And even that is not necessarily proof, because the absence of the same action does not necessarily mean a decision was taken. There is still the chance that Supercell just does not know about that, and so they didn't get rid of it. There are a lot of instances where this can make sense. Also, one community manager is not the entire company. Also, generally, like, I'll give you an example. So I can give you a parallel to Amazon. Actually, I can't share this. I don't know if I can. But the person that told me, I have a good relationship with them, so I don't want to, like, make any problems. But anyway, so there are a number of issues. Usually, a video getting reported and getting taken down is oftentimes outsourced to a third-party company. And the third-party company acts on behalf of the developer. So that's number one. Number two is that the person who could have issued the copyright strike is probably not the community manager, because the person who is identifying copyright infringement is probably not a person who's paid to talk to content creators. This is a very technical thing. It's not like copyright infringement is some, can you identify the color green? No, copyright infringement is a very specific legal definition that companies take into consideration seriously. So this is usually done by a legal team or some sort of a team that is dedicated to upholding the intellectual property of the company. So the idea that it's the community manager that just happens to have this vendetta against this one guy and happens to only copyright strike, this vendetta has been going on apparently for 4 years. And then randomly, recently, they decided we're going to copyright strike you. So they waited 4 years to do this, not right. Again, all of these things do not prove or disprove what's been stated, but they make it less likely. None of this is proof against what you're saying, but also none of what you're saying is evidence either. Hopefully that makes sense. It can be a coincidence, but no, what I'm saying is that, so this is the implication. The implication is that the community manager has a vendetta against this person, and thus, because of that vendetta, the community manager is carrying out that vendetta by sending in copyright strikes. But if the community manager isn't sending in the copyright strikes, then the vendetta argument falls apart unless you assume that there's internal collusion and corruption where the community manager is telling the legal team to send a copyright strike, which makes it less likely. The amount of steps that you have to take, the amount of possibilities like this is it. There's a lot of steps that are not being taken here. Would that be considered slander? I don't know. I'm not sure. All this over a mobile game. Yes, clearly. The contract info on that document ends in Fondia.com, which is a Finnish law firm. Yeah, but I'm not sure why. Is Clash of Clans made in Finland? I have no idea. My theory is the guy was given permission to have the re-uploads on his channel, but whenever he was taken out of the partner program, the community manager asked him to remove the videos and he refused. That's a great theory, and that might be the case. But I don't think that's the case because the videos were uploaded in 2024 and he was removed from the partner program in 2020. So what is the logic that it took him 4 years? That doesn't work. What happens if you break NDA? It depends. Usually nothing. They just stop working with you. It's a pretty big, steep an assumption, though. Yes, it is. I thought the channel was taken down recently. It was, but the drama happened 4 years ago, which is why I think that it's not because of his removal of the partner program. Because if it was, that would have happened a long period before then. It doesn't add up. Yeah, there's too many pieces about this that don't add up. And I want you guys to know this, that whenever somebody brings drama like this to me, I have no problem evaluating it. But be careful what you wish for. I will be very, very specific. And the reason why is that I think there are too many people who believe lies on the internet because it sounds good. And as an ego Andy, I think that it's my job to make sure that that doesn't happen all the time. That's the reason. And I love doing it, especially when you're talking, taking a look either way. You have great points. And Eric, I appreciate your video. If you're right, Supercell does have a lot of explaining to do. Hey, they do. But we need more evidence. We need better proof. I can't believe it at this point. Sorry to say.